Hello again, Ian Stuck with Mastermind Games, back with more Warhammer 40,000 / Kill Team, and from the Rogue Trader box set, the Rogue Trader herself, Elucia Vhane of the Elucidian Starstriders. It's kind of an awkward one to pronounce. Fairskins 09047. So Rogue Traders are combinations of privateers, merchants, and explorers whose primary goal is to find more resources to keep feeding the bloated Imperium of Man. And Vhane is one of the most famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, rogue traders out there, known as the Feathered Death to the Orcs. And it's both a lauded hero and a wanted criminal, depending on what part of the Imperium you happen to be in. She's over 500 years old, and thanks to rejuvenate treatment and what am I going to do about her hair on the back? I think I got an idea. Let me get some more paint out first. Alright, let's get a little more paint out. As the backstory to the Rogue Trader Kill Team set, she was one of about 100 rogue traders contracted by Rabui Gilman, Primarch of the Ultramarines himself, to find new worlds for the Imperium to replace ones lost during the war with the Death Guard. Shield Brown 0161. And while she succeeded thanks to a map she stole from her own family, her ship was also overrun by the Gellerpox infected, and was one of the first to succumb to this new disease, and was stuck on the world, having to destroy both her own ship and the secondary shuttle that was in it to stop the plague from hitting the surface. Marine Teal 09077. Yeah, 3 different rogue traders. The first was Janice Drake. She is the second. The third, I can't remember her name, but she was from the Escalation expansion of Blackstone Fortress. I'm still trying to memorize her name, but giving each of them a different color scheme. So, now, not necessarily canon, but there is a web comic on the Warhammer community site called Vhane Glorious, about the adventures of Elucia Vhane's worthless cousin, Buck. It's run its course, but it's worth some laughs. Oh, missed a bit of she doesn't have very much exposed skin, just a tiny bit at the face, fingers, and shoulders. Rogue traders are granted a warrant of trade by the Imperium. That more or less lets them do whatever they want. They gotta find these resources on behalf of the Imperium, but they also get to take a cut of it. And that happened. I didn't have enough trouble with the models in this set. I have a bit too much. Okay, I might be picking out significant portions of this breastplate in other colors. This is definitely looking more like armor than I first thought, but and like I'm sure they're powerful in Kill Team, which I don't have, but got this mostly because I like the looks of the models, and they can be used in Warhammer 40,000, but They seem less than spectacular for 40k. You could make a, what's the word? Patrol detachment out of them. That's about it. There's a lot of synergy between the models. With Elucia Vhane being the brains of the outfit, naturally, and the others providing supporting roles. Okay. Just get a nice solid coat. I don't think I'll need to do a second. If I do, it'll be off camera. Okay. Now a little more under the veil here, and I'm gonna let that dry before I move on. That's a good start. Alright, next up, let's go with leather white 09062. Going on the pants or leggings, whatever you want to call them. The holster for her pistol, which I believe is supposed to be an Archaeotech pistol, but I'm not certain. It's been a while since I've read her data sheet. Scabbard for her I think it's described as a monomolecular cane, but essentially a sword cane. Just being very methodical about this. And then the trim on her detached sleeves. Because rogue traders are all about the pomp. Alright. She's got this frill sticking out from under her breastplate, which I probably will at this point pick out in one of the secondary colors. And a frilly collar, which is what it is, but I personally think these are goofy. And her veil. Trim around the top of the breastplate. And I think I'll go ahead and get the feathers as well. Hello, Bone 09143. I'm assuming this parchment on her hip is her warrant of trade, which is probably her most important possession. Okay. Uniform gray. Picking out the rubble she's standing on. Okay, so there looks like some shell casings on here, so I'll need to pull out another color. That's okay. Alright. Let that dry and move on. Okay, next. Plate mail metal. Carefully pick out the trim on her hat, and then the armor. Sound like the wind's picking up outside. I believe she does have an integrated force field generator in her armor and has, I think, a invulnerable save. I might redo the generator since I'm doing redoing the breastplate. But trim, of course. This is less of a skirt and more of a long coat. Don't know if the heart-shaped cutout is very appropriate to her, but it's there. Kind of lightly going over the top here. Just light strokes. Select portions of the sword cane. And trim knees and buckles on the boots. Let's go. backpack silver. Chaotic red, which all this time later still needs extra mixing. Just a tiny dot. Tiny dot to get the seal on her mark of trade. And tarnished, no, old bronze 09197. This, I'll go ahead and get the handle of her pistol. And her bionic implant. Well, I'm assuming it's bionic, and then the spent shell casings to her feet. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Now, antique gold 09050. Going to get the head of her cane. Being very careful around here, kind of coming from the back because I don't want to nick the warrant of trade in the process. And then her Aqua. That is my timer for my laundry. And that wraps up base coat so I can start shading once this dries. Okay, time to shade. Aged Pewter 09196. Thinning out with 1 part water to 1 part paint. This makes it into a wash. So your base coat is going to be the value you want it to be. The shade will be a darker version of the color you want. And the highlight will be a lighter version of the desired color. And then, oh, almost forgot our optic. And old bronze 0904, or ancient bronze 09049. Doesn't look right. Mix that up a little more. Better. Let's go on the cane. And on the Aquila, I think. Aquila. Can't remember what it's technically supposed to be pronounced as, but it could be pronounced either or. And then red brick 09001. Tiny little dot on the seal. Okay. Let that dry. Move on a bit. Next, I'm thinking the white, so linen white 09061. meticulous here. May not have gotten all the flash off that cane when I cut it off the sprue, but it was also one of those things where I had to be careful on filing and sanding, otherwise I'd end up snapping it like a twig. Okay, it's gonna have to dry before I move on. And next, there's a Blackened steel 09205. Going along the trim here. Don't need to redo the red brick. Little white got on the seal. Tiny dot in the middle there. Boy, this is fighting me. And then stained ivory 09142. Just about there. Next, Deep Ocean 09076. I'll have to be cautious with this one. Being very careful around all the other colors, especially since this one is much darker. darker than the ones that preceded it. Getting one section at a time. I'll probably never figure out why I keep whispering when I'm focused. Okay. Just about done with the shading. Just 2 colors left, and I can highlight in detail. Okay. Matte white. Gonna start a lighting effect in her eye. Well, her bionic one anyway. And this is plugged up. Badly. There we go. Just carefully fill that in. Now, Woodstain Brown 09160. I almost forgot I gave her hair. Be very careful on this. Okay. Fair Shadow 09046. Getting super carefully just on the face there. Fingers. And the shoulders. What is it? Stormy Gray 09088. Carefully filling out the base. Alright. Now, Vampire Red. The white in the eye should be dry, so for a lighting effect, 2 to 3 parts water per 1 part paint. And the trick is to letting some of the white show through. And it may or may not do it quite right, but it should be okay, so let that dry. Okay, now white again. Carefully fill in her non-bionic eye. I'm gonna have to let that set for a minute before I highlight. Alright, matte black. Just a tiny dot. The pupil. Now switching to a dry brushing technique. How do I want to start? Okay. Fair highlight 09048. Using a ragged feathered brush. No water, straight paint. Rubbing the excess out on the paper towel. It looks like there's nothing left. I've tried this with a regular towel and it just doesn't work. I'm not going to bother with the face. That's tucked under the veil quite a bit, so we'll just do the shoulders and fingers. Make the brush completely dry. Driftwood Brown 09162. So I'll be switching out freely on the brushes. Next, Surf Aqua 09078. Focusing on the most readily visible areas, so going against any raised edges. Ghost White 09063. That's too broad. Okay. That one. These feathers aren't that brittle, but it does make me a little nervous. Misty Gray 09090. True Silver 09207. Oh, great. Missed a spot on the white. Crap. Okay, that's better. Now the True Silver. Tarnished Brass 09198. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Creamy Ivory 09144. Just realized I forgot to do the shell casing on her base. Take that bronze again, and just not at the top of my game right this minute. In a long couple of months for me. Okay, that leaves Vampire Red. And New Gold 09051. There's the Aquila. Nice and shiny. Okay. black again to finish up, which I just dropped. Flathead brush now. Use round for most works. Just enough water to thin the paint, same as a base coat. So moist but not overly wet. Dry brush, obviously dry, but shading as wet as possible. Just lining the base, being very careful where the model touches. Also using a very delicate grip. Just polishing off the base here. It's just an arbitrary color choice. And once this dries, I can get the basic material on. Okay, basing. White glue and water. Sacrificial brush, doing this will wear it out sooner, so. Set up the newest solution there. Basic material out. I'm using a talus or rock debris. I use a mix of fine, coarse, and a little bit of medium, or fine, medium, and a little bit of coarse. Carefully painting around the feet of the model. This will be a little easier than some, since she's got this platform she's standing on. Well, rubble to be fair. Give her a dip. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to take a spare brush that's dry and just brush the excess away from where I don't want it. Okay, that's going to have to set for a bit before I seal it, but just a couple of steps left and my camera's going crazy again, oh boy. Alright, last step that I can do on camera. Taking a sprayer brush on adhesive. This is Scenic Cement by Woodland Scenics. There's other stuff out there I'm sure works too. Glass eyedropper. Glass because this will bond to plastic quickly. Just carefully drop it in. You need to give your material time to set first. Otherwise it will just... This will just push the basic material around. Clean the eyedropper out. The last step will be to varnish it once this dries, but I can't really do that on camera since it involves an aerosol can. That is Elucia Vhane of the Elucidian Star Striders from Warhammer 40,000 and Kill Team. If my camera will play nice and focus on her. I guess it won't. Alright, great. Okay, well, continuing this little group next video. Until then, I am Ian Stooky with Mastermind Games, signing out.